Hey, Phil here. Thanks for watching Frets. It's done. Well, mostly. I'll show you what I mean. I've got the Fender Custom Shop Texas Special pickups installed on my American Fender Stratocaster, and everything is new. Well, except for the plastics. These were actually from my parts drawer. But the pickups are new, and the covers came with the pickups. The switch is new. The potentiometers and the capacitors are all new. Now I want to show you what I've done here. I've done a little bit of alternate wiring. The standard wiring is set up so that you've got your master volume, you've got this tone control, which controls the tone of just the neck pickup, and this tone control controls the tone of the middle pickup, and the bridge pickup is left wide open. Well, what I did here, check this out. I'm going to put it in neck position. Okay, so far nothing different. I'm putting it in the middle position. Ah, this is where it's different. I'm using the same tone control for the bridge and the middle pickup. I'm sorry, did I call that the bridge? The neck pickup and the middle pickup. And then on the bridge, I now have tone control. Now, in order to do that, I used two capacitors. I used 47s. I read a bunch of places before choosing what kind to get. Do I use 22s or 47s? And some said 22s, some said 47s. And if it turns out I don't like the 47s, well, it's easy enough to change those out. Ran into one problem. Well, two problems. Number one, I didn't take off the plastic off the pick guard before putting it together, so I've got a little bit stuck in there, but that's just going to have to stay until I take the strings off again, so until the next string change. But the other thing is, hey, look at that. One of the holes didn't line up. Turns out the new pickguard is an old-fashioned style in that it only has 8 screws. Now, of those 8 screws, 7 of them line up with the original, but there's one that does not. So the question becomes, do I leave it as it is, or do I drill a hole into my guitar? And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Sometimes when you modify guitars, you have to drill a hole into your guitar. I just am not sure if I want to drill a hole in this particular guitar at this particular time. It doesn't really bother me that there's a hole in the pickguard and not in the guitar, and there's no screw to put it in. But later on, if I do decide to drill into it, no problem, because if I switch back to the other type of pickup cover, pickguard, it's late, forgive me, it's going on 1 in the morning. If I switch to the 11-hole style, it's going to cover up the hole anyway, so it's really not that big a deal. But I've got to say, I'm pleased with the tones that I'm getting out of it. It's a little hotter from the overrun pickups. The mids are, they stand out a little more, and it's kind of cool because if you can see it from there, if you look at the pickups themselves, the pole pieces are closer to the strings. They really stick out in where the middle strings are, which brings out the mids. Makes sense to me. Anyway, when it comes to modding your Strat, you can find all kinds of parts. You can find parts from Fender, and you can find a lot of parts from a lot of different companies. And anything you do to customize your Strat, almost anything you do, is also reversible. I could revert this back to stock in no time. And if I want to keep it the way it is, or even change this or that, as far as changing cosmetic things, like the color of the knobs and pickup covers, man, there's so many choices, and you can pick them up just about anywhere. Check eBay, check your local guitar store. You can find lots of ways to customize your Strat. And I like tinkering with it. I like that it's a little bit different every time I change the strings, and usually they're just cosmetic changes. This was the first time I actually did any kind of meaningful change to the tone. But I've got to say, it worked out. I'm really pleased with the result. And who knows? Maybe I'll keep it the way it is. Maybe I'll change it. But I've got to say, I like the Texas Special pickups. Well, hey, I got to get to bed. This is Phil on Frets. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.